The story of the immune system begins with the story of life itself, almost 3.5 billion years ago, in some strange puddle on a hostile and vastly empty planet. We don't know what these first living beings did or what their deal was, but we know they very soon started to be mean to each other. If you think life is hard because you need to get up early in the morning to get your kids ready for the day, or because your burger is only lukewarm, the first living cells on Earth would like a word with you. As they figured out how to transform the chemistry around them into stuff they could use, while also acquiring the energy needed to keep going, some of the first cells took a shortcut. Why bother with doing all the work yourself if you could just steal from someone else? Now, there were a number of different ways to do that, like swallowing someone else whole or ripping holes into them and slurping out their insides. But this could be dangerous, and instead of getting a free meal, you could end up as the meal of your intended victim, especially if they were bigger and stronger than you. So, another way to get the prize with less of the risk might be to just get inside them and make yourself comfortable. Eat what they eat and be protected by their warm embrace. Kind of beautiful if it wasn't so horrible to the host. As it became a valid strategy to become good at leeching from others, it became an evolutionary necessity to be able to defend yourself against the leeches. And so microorganisms competed and fought each other with the weapons of equals for the next 2.9 billion years. If you had a time machine and went back to marvel at the wonders of this competition, you would be pretty bored, as there was nothing big enough to see other than a few faint films of bacteria on some wet rocks. Earth was a pretty dull place for the first few billion years, until life made, arguably, the single largest jump in complexity in its history. We don't know what exactly started the shift from single cells that were mostly on their own to huge collectives working closely together and specializing. Around 541 million years ago, multicellular animal life suddenly exploded and became visible. And not only that, it became more and more diverse extremely quickly. This, of course, created a problem for our newly evolved ancestors. For billions of years, the microbes living in their tiny world had competed and fought for space and resources in every ecosystem available. And what are animals really to a bacteria and other critters if not a very nice ecosystem? An ecosystem filled top to bottom with free nutrients. So from the very start, intruders and parasites were an existential danger to the existence of multicellular life. Only multicellular beings that found ways to deal with this threat would survive and get the chance to become even more complex. Unfortunately, since cells and tissues do not really preserve well over hundreds of millions of years, we can't look at immune system fossils. But through the magic of science, we can look at the diverse tree of life and the animals that are still around today and study their immune systems. The farther separated two creatures are on the tree of life and still share a trait of the immune system, the older that trait must generally be. So the great questions are, where is the immune system different, and what are the common denominators between animals? Today, virtually all living beings have some form of internal defense, and as living things become more complex, so do their immune systems. We can learn a lot about the age of the immune system by comparing the defenses in very distantly related animals. Even on the smallest scale, bacteria possess ways to defend against viruses, as they can't get taken over without a fight. In the animal world, sponges, the most basic and oldest of all animals, which have existed for more than 500 million years, possess something that probably was the first primitive immune response in animals. It is called humoral immunity. Humor, in this context, is an ancient Greek term that means bodily fluids. So humoral immunity is very tiny stuff made out of proteins that floats through the bodily fluids outside of the cells of an animal. These proteins hurt and kill microorganisms that have no business being there. This type of defense was so successful and useful that virtually all animals around today have it, including you, so evolution did not phase this system out, but rather made it crucial to any immune defense. In principle, it hasn't changed in 500 million years.